Hello and welcome back. Today I am going to give you 8 tips and tricks to sprinkle in here and there to different elements of your social life to help you kind of systemize your social life and put it on autopilot while also being really good at fostering community and deepening connections with people that are in your life. Maybe they're just acquaintances and you want to make them friends. Maybe they're outer circle friends, you want to make them inner circle friends. Maybe you are starting from scratch, you just moved to a new city, you have no idea what to do. Whatever your situation is, these tips are going to help. So let's get right into it. Number 1 is become a planner. Yeah, I know we're starting off controversial already because a lot of people are going to hear this tip and they're going to say, no, thank you. That is too much effort for me. I have a full-time job. I have a family to worry about. I have other responsibilities. It's hard enough to keep track of every other element of life, and I am not going to take on the extra task of becoming a planner. Okay, I hear you, but hear me out. Here's the thing. As someone who has been forced to become a planner myself, and no, this was not something I was interested in. No, this was not something I was on the market for. I didn't say, hey, let me be a community builder, social planner. Let me always be planning everything. That sounds fun. No, it doesn't sound fun to anybody. But anytime you want to experience shared experiences with your friends, or you want to go to events with your friends, that event and that experience is going to have to be planned. And the reason that a lot of events and experiences are not actually happening in your life is because nobody's willing to take the reins on planning. And while that is, yes, very unfortunate, the ball has to start rolling somewhere so it can be with you. And a lot of people might not even feel very comfortable planning, or they just quite literally just don't think to take the initiative. Like, it doesn't come into their mind. The thought doesn't come into their head, hey, I should plan an event for me and my friends to do together. That's just like off their radar. They're distracted with other elements of life and they're just not bringing this in. I would imagine, I would go so far as to guess that that's probably your situation too. But now that you're watching this video, you can rectify the situation and just take the reins a little bit and take the initiative to actually start planning. Now, if you become the default planner in your friend group, or it doesn't even have to be a friend group, it could be like you and this one other friend, you're always doing the planning and they're never taking the reins and they're never reciprocating. And I think that becomes a problem because it's a little bit like unequal effort and you really don't want that. But by taking the reins initially, you might inspire the people around you to reciprocate your effort and also take the initiative on future plans or future endeavors. It's just like we say at the fitness class that I coach, you are inspiring your neighbor. Maybe the reason that nobody in your group or nobody among your friends ever plans anything is because they're just afraid to be the one who starts planning, or they don't know how to be the one who starts planning, the one who takes the reins. Most people in life are followers. They're not leaders, and that's fine, but you should feel empowered to be the leader, to start this, to take this initiative, and maybe see if the people in your life actually reciprocate. If not, you can always go find some more friends that are more willing to reciprocate, because again, I always say the goal is to find reciprocal friendships where everybody's equally invested and everybody is giving equal effort. I so often make friendships sound like it's a job, but if I'm honest, I do think that. I do think it's literally just another job, just like having a husband or a wife is another job, just like having a home and managing a home is another job. Everything in life is a job. Everything in life is pay to play. It takes a lot of initiative and a lot of effort, and I think we should be more excited about that than we are upset about it, because it is the way it is, so we might as well embrace it, because our only other option is to be upset about it, because it's not going to change. Like, that fact is not going to go away. So we might as well just find a way to be excited about it. And I think you can do that by becoming a planner. So what you can do is you can really utilize social media for this. You can go on TikTok, on Instagram, and search for your local area, events that are coming up, social gatherings that are coming up, or it doesn't have to be events specifically. It doesn't have to be like time specific, like Saturday at 8, this thing is being hosted. What you can do is you can just start looking up fun experiences that are offered in your area. I am really fortunate to live in a very wealthy area of the United States. Like in this area, it's not even difficult to find. In your area, it might be difficult to find if you don't live near like a metropolitan area or a major city, but that's okay. Doesn't mean that you should be discouraged or that there's not fun things to do. There's probably a ton of things to do. You're just not aware of it because they're not gonna make themselves known to you. You're probably gonna have to go seek it out. You're gonna have to identify, okay, what do me and my friends actually like to do? What do I wanna do with my friends that I haven't been able to? What are some shared experiences that I've maybe done with friends in the past, but I haven't done with these friends, or we haven't done them together in a while? You're gonna have to start thinking about this and being intentional about saying to yourself, okay, I actually wanna create shared experiences with my friends, and I actually wanna do things around town. So I'm gonna start scoping out what it is that we could do together and start pitching it to my friends, setting a date on the calendar, sending out invites, checking in with who can go. Again, I'm always talking about these things in a group setting. It doesn't have to be a group. This can be you and one person that you're trying to get close to. It can be you and 2 other people. This can apply to any friendship situation that you have. You can start becoming a planner. You can start thinking about, okay, what type of fun experiences am I lacking in life right now? Right now it's summer, so maybe you plan something on a Saturday where you guys go tubing on the river. Maybe you really like to go to those like paint and sip classes, but you always go alone, and now you invite your friends, you plan the next one out so that you guys can all go together. Maybe you offer to host the next board game night. Maybe you like escape rooms and maybe you plan to go to the escape room, you get it all together, you handle the logistics of it all. That is unfortunately part of being a planner, is handling a lot of the logistics. Yes, it is annoying. Logistics are my least favorite thing, but I do take them on in this case simply because I want to do fun things with my friends. I know right now with my friends, I am in the midst of trying to plan a hot tub boat day, basically where we all go in together on renting a boat for a few hours. The boat has a hot tub in it, and we just spend the whole day on the river on the boat. It is going to be lit. It is going to be a little expensive. Friendship is pay to play sometimes. You don't have to do anything expensive, but it's just a way to kind of make sure that you and your friends spend the entire day together, or at least a decent number of hours together, doing something fun and doing something unusual, something atypical, something that's not the day-to-day, something that's not just going to dinner, going to coffee. Something that gives you all something to look forward to, something to be excited about. Life is really all about having the next thing to look forward to and having the next thing to be excited about. So I'm proposing that you facilitate that thing. You come up with what you guys are going to be excited about next, and then you make it happen. Okay, tip number 2. Utilize social media. So a lot of times you will find, especially when you're meeting newer people that you really don't know that well, sometimes it comes to a point where you might want to be this person's friend. You might want to move your relationship along. You might want to find a way to stay connected with them, but it's not necessarily appropriate or normal in that particular situation to ask for their phone number. It might be weird to say, hey, can I get your number? But what I always find is pretty much acceptable is to ask for their Instagram or ask for their TikTok. That's typically a much more natural kind of invite to connect than, hey, can I get your phone number? A lot of times you don't even feel like you know the person well enough to text them, but you know them perfectly well enough to follow them on Instagram. So utilize whatever social media people have. Maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Maybe it's Facebook, whatever it is. But find some way to connect with them online and utilize social media, because 9 times out of 10, people probably are like posting Instagram stories at the very least. You know, they're posting about what they're doing. Maybe you're posting about what you're doing. And it gives you a way to just later down the line kind of see like, okay, does this person's lifestyle kind of vibe with mine? Or maybe they post an Instagram story about some event that they're at. And I find that this gives you an easy way to kind of connect to people, because you can like reply to their story or comment on their post instead of texting them directly. And I highly encourage you to do this and to be intentional about it, because in my personal opinion, social media at its core is a way to connect with people. And so you can use it for that. You don't have to use it to be an influencer. I talked about this on another video. You can simply use it as a tool for connection. It is a very good tool for connection, and it can be very useful and effective if used properly. So instead of asking for somebody's phone number, ask for their Instagram. Eventually, you will get to the point where you have their phone number, you guys are hanging out. But right now, you can have their Instagram, you can have their TikTok. You'll really strike gold if someone actually is actively posting on either of these platforms, because it gives you a lot more to work with. It gives you a lot more insight to into their life, and it gives you just naturally more content to respond to and to connect with them over. So again, I say, try to be someone who posts on social media. I am pro social media if used responsibly. Okay, tip number 3, invite people to your errands. When you are running errands, you are typically doing it alone. Let's say a Saturday comes along. You have like a million things to do. You have to go grocery shopping. You have to do food prep. You have to go to the bank. You have to go to the hardware store. And it's just really an errand-filled day, and you are programmed to do this alone. You always do this alone. This is something that you wouldn't even think about inviting friends to. When a day like this comes up, I want you to pause. I want you to think about a couple people that you could throw out a text message and say, hey, I'm running around town doing errands today. If you're not busy, you're welcome to join. We can throw in your errands too, and we can just do this together. I just don't feel like enough people invite people into the everyday, like to the mundane tasks in life. But me personally, if I am taking a trip to the hardware store, to Home Goods, to Target, to the grocery store, whatever it is, I am much more likely to enjoy that experience if my friend comes with me. It also just gives you and maybe your close friend, maybe your not so close friend, an opportunity to just spend time together. Literally just get FaceTime in with this person. Have that person next to you for a couple hours with a designated activity to focus on, because you're running the errands, so you need to make sure to get that done. That's kind of your default focus. But in the meantime, you can socialize. And I feel like a lot of really good socialization happens when two people are just living life together side by side, not necessarily making a point to catch up or update each other on each other's lives, but literally just living life together, like going to the grocery store together, going to Target together, talking about what you like and what you don't like. When you're just kind of going through the motions of life together, oftentimes life presents a lot of things to connect over and to talk about, and you're gonna experience things with your friend that you wouldn't have otherwise experienced, and it's gonna be more of a bonding activity for you guys to, I'll say it again, just live life next to each other. So the next time that you have an errand heavy day or you need to run to Target, just think if you can just send out a message to one of your friends saying, hey, do you wanna join? Worst that can happen is they say no, you do the errand alone. That's exactly what you were gonna do in the first place, but at least this time you set the intention, you set the tone that I would like to spend more time with you. You're sending a message to that person like, my errands would be made better if you would tag along, and I wanna spend more time with you, and I want for us to be friends. And a lot of times, again, it's just other people will not do that. So it's so often going to be up to you. And yes, that is unfair. And yes, it's annoying. But again, it's the way of the world. What do you want me to say? Okay, tip number 4 is actually very similar to tip number 3. Instead of bringing people into your errands, I am going to advise you to bring people into your hobbies. I made another video about how having a hobby is very important for maintaining a social life. And if you do have a hobby and you're partaking in it actively, whether you're a part of a social group surrounding that hobby or not, maybe you just do it alone, maybe you like practice guitar at home, maybe you like to paint, you're an artist and you just typically do it like in your studio at home, it's a solo activity and your friends aren't really a part of it, I would invite you to find some way to invite your friends into this part of your life. Let's just stick with the guitar and the painting examples because those ones are fresh on my mind. Let's say you play guitar, let's say you're like part of a band and you perform sometimes. Instead of just going and performing with your band because maybe you're like, okay, I already have a social group around this, it's my band, we have an audience, I don't really need anybody else. Maybe there's some friends that you'd like to bring into this part of your life that have never been exposed to this part of your life before, and you want to invite them to attend your show and give them an opportunity to support you. That's another thing. You want friends who are supportive, who want to be integrated into your life a little deeper if you're actually looking for deep friendships, and this gives them an opportunity to do that. Or with the painting example, maybe you are like selling your paintings at a flea market on Saturdays or something. Maybe your paintings are in like an art exhibit or something, and you never bring your friends into this part of your life. You just participate in this by yourself. Maybe one day you say, hey, I have this art exhibit, I have this flea market where my art is going to be displayed, I'm going to be selling, I'm going to have a booth, why don't you come swing by, you can see my art and you can be a part of this. Me personally, I love it when I get invites like that. Most of my friends actually have a lot of hobbies and they invite me to a lot of things surrounding their hobbies, and there's nothing I really love more. So as long as I can make it, as long as there's time open on my schedule, I'll be going. I love to see the other worlds that my friends are involved in. And then me, on the other hand, for example, I go to this board game group on Wednesday nights, but none of my friends like board games. That's actually why I joined the board game group in the first place, because I couldn't get any of my friends to play the types of board games that I wanted to play. So I joined this group where they play more complex board games, whatever, doesn't matter. And maybe this is a little counterintuitive because my friends didn't want to play the board games in the first place, but I'll tell them, like, hey, I go to this group on Wednesday nights. If you ever want to join, you're welcome to swing by and come along. I would love to just play like one game with you just for you to see like what it's all about. And you can kind of see what I'm doing on Wednesday nights. You can see what this is all about. And sometimes they're interested, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're too busy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're throwing the invite out there, you're being intentional, and you're trying to integrate people into your life, because that's really what closeness with friendship is all about, is bringing people into the very interesting and unique life that I know that you lead. Okay, tip number 5 actually has to do with how to handle overstimulation and maybe a bout of social anxiety when you're already at an event or a gathering of some sort. Okay, so the people I'm trying to reach on my channel are people who are starting from scratch with friendship, or they feel like they don't know how to build a community effectively, or maybe even some people who are very socially awkward, socially anxious, and they're trying to overcome it. And so let's say you are at a social gathering, you're actually out there, you're participating, you're doing the thing, and you find that after an hour or two of being around a lot of people and having to socialize a lot, your social battery is drained and you feel like you want to leave the situation. You want to exit. That's your immediate impulse and instinct, is to exit the situation. You're done socializing for the night. You have had it up to here and your social battery is all the way down. I experienced this the other day when I was in a group setting with some people that I was close friends with, some people that I didn't know at all. So it was a mix of really having to turn myself on and also being a little bit more comfortable with the people that I know really well. But we were all hanging out at the pool and we were gonna be there all night. So I think we started things up around 3 or 4 p.m. and basically the plan was to go all night. We were having a pool party, we were having a cookout, it was the whole thing. And about like an hour or two into the night, I was really, really exhausted. I was overwhelmed, I was overstimulated. I felt like I was carrying a lot of the conversations a lot of the times, so my social battery was being drained, and I really, really, really wanted to get away for a minute. Again, my instinct was, okay, I'm socialized out for the night, I need to go home. But if I did that, I would have missed like the rest of the night, like hours worth of socializing with my friends, which I'm not interested in. So my recommendation here is to take a break when you need a break, or better yet, opt for a break instead of exiting the social setting. If you feel like your battery is really drained and you're overstimulated and you need a minute just to recollect, typically there's probably some way you can find a break. Like for me, for example, in the situation I just described, it was relatively easy because it was a very large setting and there was a very large group of people that I was with. So if I step away, I feel confident that no one's gonna really notice that I'm gone and that I can be away from this immediate socializing for a minute. And because it was a large venue, I just went all the way across the room and I sat on a couch and I sat on my phone for a minute, just took a minute to myself because my battery was feeling so drained and I was feeling so overstimulated. But I knew I didn't want to miss out on the rest of the evening. And it worked like a charm. I was able to get some alone time. I was able to get some quiet time to myself. I stayed there for like 20 minutes and then I just rejoined the group and I was fine for the rest of the night. And when you get to this point, I know your instinct is to exit. Or alternatively, you might not have the instinct to exit. You might want to stick it out, but because you're so drained and you don't have a way to recharge, you're not having any fun. So it's either you lose out on the night because you're not there, because you've left and you've gone home, or you lose out on the night because you're so drained and you're not actually having fun. But neither of those are ideal options. So if you can find a way to take a break instead of exiting, I would recommend you do that, so that you're not sacrificing so much quality time with your friends every time your battery is drained. Okay, tip number 6. I call this the hey, I'm in the area move. It's a move that I have that I like to pull out anytime I have a friend and I know where they live. You have to know where somebody lives in order to pull out this move. So maybe it kind of depends on how close you are with them if you know that information. But I mean, typically you're probably gonna know like the general neighborhood or area that somebody lives in. Typically that's something people talk about maybe even on the first time you meet them, like, oh yeah, I live in this part of town, or I live on the north side, I live on the south side, blah, blah, blah. Now, I will say I have an advantage here because with my job, I actually end up going all around town to different studios all the time. So I'm constantly all around town. And when I am in the part of town that I know one of my friends lives in, I will shoot them a message and just say, hey, I'm gonna be in your part of town later. Do you wanna go on a walk? I am very particular about it being a walk. Why? Because a walk is a great setting for chit chat, in my opinion. I feel like going on a walk facilitates conversation. I can't really explain it to you, and I don't really know why, but I always feel like going on a walk with somebody is a little more conducive to a quality conversation than getting coffee or getting dinner. And I do like getting coffee with people, and I do like getting dinner with people, but this is a part of a very particular move that I like to do where I say, hey, I'm in your area, do you wanna go on a walk? And I throw this out to people that I've never even hung out with one-on-one, just to initiate a relationship with them where I am with them one-on-one, if I am interested in growing my relationship with them. This is how I get things rolling. This is how I change my relationship with them from casual acquaintance to someone that I spend one-on-one time with intentionally. And I gotta say, honestly, it works like a charm. I love, love, love going on walks with my friends. Just in general, I would even say start going on walks with your friends. That could be another part of this tip. But if you do find yourself like going around town, maybe you travel to the other part of town that you don't usually travel to and you know somebody lives there, take advantage of that to spend time with them while you're already in that part of town and kind of work friendships into your day-to-day life as it already stands, so that again, you can start to systemize your social life and really build community into your day-to-day. You need to stop thinking about community as something that only happens on Friday nights or Saturday during the day when social events happen. Your community building can happen when you're running errands, when you're in a different part of town, just going on a walk. I mean, you have to get your 10,000 steps in a day anyways. You might as well get it with a friend. I love getting my 10,000 steps in with a friend instead of by myself. I also love doing it by myself, to be fair, but if you can bring a friend in, if you know that somebody lives in that part of town, I recommend you steal this move from me. Anytime you're in a different neighborhood and you know somebody that lives there, you can start extending an olive branch to them to basically say, hey, I'm in your part of town and I thought of you. Do you want to go on a walk? Because here's the thing, when you invite somebody on a walk, you're not asking for anything from them. You're simply saying, I want to spend time with you. That's it. Like, that's what that invite is going to communicate to that person. There's no favor involved. There's really not a lot of effort on their part because you're in their part of town. You're already in their neighborhood. And so what you're kind of covertly saying to them is, I simply want your company. Okay, tip number 7. This one is so important, and I think I will eventually do an entire video on this topic, but it is start inviting people to shared experiences over catch-up experiences. So a shared experience is some fun activity that you guys are all engaging in together over a long period of time, simply for the experience of it all. Whereas a catch-up activity is something like getting dinner or getting coffee, maybe even going on a walk, contrary to the last tip that I gave, where really the only point of that social gathering is to like update each other on your lives. You're probably going to be talking about like what's been going on at work, what's been going on in your relationship, what you've been doing lately, just kind of like the normal catch-up stuff. But in reality, most real bonding among friends happens over shared experiences. So if you have a limited social budget, which we all do, you have limited time that you're going to commit and you have limited time that you're going to be able to spend in social activities that week, and you're debating one thing over the other, I would err towards the side of choosing experiences over catching up. Because here's the thing, catching up doesn't bond you that much. It doesn't create a real connection with somebody. What really creates connection is shared experiences. So you can probably actually work this into tip number 1, becoming a planner. When you are planning and initiating invites to things that you're gonna do with your friends, maybe you were just gonna invite them to dinner, maybe you were gonna set up like a group dinner, but can you instead think to yourself, wait, what's a shared experience that I would love for us to all have together? And this can be so many things. That's the beauty of shared experiences. There's actually so many, like the boat day that I mentioned earlier that I'm planning with my friends, shared experience. This can be an escape room or some activity around town. It can be a paint and sip. It can be you guys taking a fitness class together. It can even be you guys like playing a game together. That's honestly why I like games so much. I just think it facilitates a lot of connection. But think about the experiences that you actually tend to enjoy in life. You can make this unique to you. You can make it tailored to your preferences and the preferences of your friends so that you're making sure that you guys are actually having fun experiences together. Always err on the side of experiences over activities where you're just catching up. Like, hey, do you want to grab dinner? Hey, do you want to grab coffee? Again, nothing wrong with these things, but if you're choosing between the two, or if you're going to a lot of dinners or going out to get drinks with people and you're noticing that your connection isn't deepening, then you could think about flipping the switch from always getting drinks and dinner to planning actual shared experiences that you guys can do together. One thing that's key with shared experiences is making sure that you guys are together and doing something actively for a long period of time. It has to be like a couple hours at least, because the more time spent in that situation, the more you're going to notice that your bond is strengthening and your connection is deepening. Maybe I'll even do, I'm thinking about this as I'm saying it, maybe I'll even do a video on the best shared experiences to have with your friends, and I'll list specific shared experiences that I've noticed are super fun and a real bonding activity. Okay, tip number 8, we are finally at the very last tip. This video was much longer than expected. That's okay. If you have stayed till the end, I appreciate you. Okay, tip number 8 has to do with home projects. If you do not have home projects, I feel like I'm probably just home project heavy. Like, my life involves a lot more home projects than maybe the average person, because personally I love home projects and I love for my home to look beautiful, and I'm always thinking about how to beautify the spaces around me. That's just something that's always going on in my mind. And maybe you're not like that, but I would recommend having more home projects in your life, for starters. And if you don't have a ton, I can imagine you probably have something. You probably have something that you want to do to your house or to your apartment that you've been putting off, but it's kind of been in the back of your mind. You probably have some way to kind of beautify your space. And what I recommend is that you use home projects as a bonding activity with your friends. Bring your friends into your home project. A couple that I have, maybe just to get some ideas flowing for you. I recently decided that my entryway was really, really ugly. It's like the ugliest part of my apartment. It's got this gross beige tile and like ugly walls. They're like popcorn walls. It's terrible. And basically, I just hate it and wish that it was better. So I put together a before picture, and then I got ChatGPT to generate an after picture by typing in my vision or whatever. And I sent it out to my friends and I said, hey, I have this vision for my entryway. I really want to work on it. It's going to involve like peel and stick tile on the floor. It's going to involve like bead and batten boards on the walls. And I just feel like it's going to be a whole thing, a whole project. I could use some help. Does anybody want to help me on a Saturday coming up or something like that? Another one I want to do is peel and stick tile on the backsplash of my kitchen, because my kitchen is so starkly white and I hate it, that I really want to add like some darker tones in there. But again, it's kind of an undertaking. You have to like cut the pieces of tile and everything, and you have to put like a layer in between. So anyways, it's just something I would rather do with other people than do by myself. Or even just a trip to Home Goods. Like, I always have things in my mind that I need for my home that I should buy from Home Goods. So even just keeping a list of ways that I want to beautify my home and take a trip to Home Goods to get those things. Again, before and after pictures are always going to be key. Or should I say before pictures and then a vision for the after. Now that I'm talking this through, this one might only be applicable to women. I don't know that men are going to be all that interested in this particular thing. But if you are a man and you are a bachelor, you live alone, I recommend you actually take care of your space, you decorate your space. It is much more attractive than having your typical bachelor pad. Side note. So again, this might be a little niche and you might feel like, well, I never do home projects. Number one, I recommend that you do home projects. And then number two, make a thing of it. Make it a big deal. Make it a project with several steps. So make it something that's going to take an entire Saturday. That is a beautiful Saturday in my mind. And again, it's even more beautiful if you can invite your friends into it and you can make it like something, again, a shared experience that you guys go through together, because then it's less of a chore and it's more of a social activity. And me personally, I'm all about turning chores into social activities because I don't like chores, but I do like my friends. So you can try it as well. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Maybe comment down below how all of these tips worked out for you. If you used one of them, if you used multiple of them, that's the thing. You can kind of pick and choose with these tips and tricks which ones are going to actually work in your life and which ones you're just not feeling. And let me know how it goes. But I can say from personal experience, I have used every single one of these. That's how I came up with them in the first place. And they have really helped me systemize my social life and put it on autopilot while also not taking away from the quality of my connections just because it's a little more systemized. So that is it for me today. Thank you for sticking around till the end. I hope your friendships are better. I hope you use one of these tips. For now, that is it for me. I will see you on the next one.